Welcome to the Purpose, Passion, and Profit podcast, a show for ambitious women who are ready to ditch their 9-to-5 and create an online business doing work that's in alignment with their calling. I'm your host, Kelly Dawn, business and money mindset coach for purpose-driven entrepreneurs. Each week, I'll be sharing actionable steps to help you gain clarity, build confidence, and cultivate an abundance mindset that will help you create a profitable, service-based online business. If you're ready to make an income and impact doing what you love, let's do this. Hey everyone, welcome back to the show. Today we're talking about how to be more visible in your online business. Because if you're not putting yourself out there, if you're not being visible, your ideal clients can't find you and they can't hire you. Now, what tends to happen with a lot of newer entrepreneurs is there is this fire burning within where you want to get out there, you want to serve people, you want to share your message, you want to get your work out there into the world. But on the flip side of that, there's fear and there's resistance. So you know what you need to do. You know you need to be showing up regularly. You know you need to be posting. You know you need to be doing the videos or the podcast or the blog post or whatever it is that you feel called to do in terms of showing up, but you're not doing it. So today what we're going to do is talk about two things that are going to help you be more visible in your business. These two things are really going to help you move through the fear and the resistance of showing up for your people. Okay, so the first thing we want to look at is the foundation of your business. Do you know what you do? Can you clearly articulate what it is that you do in your business? Do you know who you serve? Do you know who your absolute dream client is? Do you know how to create content? And do you have a solid strategy in place? These foundational pieces are so important because when you have these down, showing up is a no-brainer. You know exactly what to do, you know how to do it, and creating content regularly, getting in front of your people in a way that feels good for you, those things are already set. So you don't have to question yourself. You don't have to move into the space of wondering if maybe it's time to switch your ideal client or wondering if you need to switch gears in your business. You know what it is you do, you know who you serve, and you get out there and you just work your strategy. And this is something I resisted for a long time in my business because as a creative entrepreneur, I didn't want to be boxed in. I didn't want to feel trapped by a strategy. I didn't want to be locked into even having a certain kind of ideal client that I was working with. And what was happening is that I was showing up regularly and I was posting, so I thought I was being visible. But what I was sharing was very light, fluffy, watered down content. I wasn't speaking to anyone specifically. I was regurgitating a lot of positive motivational quotes that I saw on Instagram that everyone else was sharing. So I thought I was doing the right thing. And I was getting engagement. But the engagement I was getting was from people who just like to read the light, fluffy, positive posts. They thought it was inspirational. They thought it was motivational. And it was very feel-good content. But I wasn't attracting the clients that I wanted because I wasn't speaking to them. So we need to be really clear on the foundational pieces in our business because that's really going to help us feel more confident when we're being visible, when we're putting ourselves out there. To share an example around this, years ago, I went to an in-person networking event. And as an introvert, in-person stuff is not really my thing. It's not my favorite thing to do at all. But at the time, I thought it would be a fun way to get out and meet people and mingle and talk about my business. And so at this event, one of the things that we did was play sort of like a musical chairs thing where we would go around and we would be placed in small groups of people. And within those small groups, we had the opportunity to talk about our work and everyone had the same amount of minutes. We just went around in a circle and everyone got to share what it is that they did. This is when I realized that I had a problem. This is when I realized that I really needed to work on this because I had no clue how to clearly say what it is I did. And at the time, I think I said something along the lines of, I help people elevate their frequency or vibration so they can manifest their desires. And while something like that might go over well if you're speaking to new age, spiritual people who are in that world of law of attraction and manifestation, they would probably understand that language. But I was speaking to complete strangers who weren't necessarily in that world. Maybe some of them were, But the looks I got from people made it very clear that they had no freaking idea what that even meant. And I didn't even know what it meant at the time. I was brand new and I was throwing around words that I thought I was supposed to use at the time. I thought that's what I was supposed to say. I thought it sounded really great. But the thing is, no one understood what that even meant. So I got a lot of nice, awkward smiles. That's nice. Okay, next. Who's the next person? And that's when I realized, okay, I really need to get to work on this and be able to clearly speak about what it is I do. So that's the first thing I want you guys to do. Look at the thing that you do for your people and ask yourself, am I clear on this? Am I confident in this? And then also look at the person that you want inside your programs. And when you're showing up, it's going to be a lot more easy to be visible when you're speaking to that person because you're not worried about all the other people on the internet. Because what tends to happen is that we have this message to share. And when it comes to the time where we have to hit publish on the post, we hesitate because we don't want Uncle Jimmy to see the post or the person that we went to high school with who still follows us on Facebook. We don't want those people to see our stuff because there's this resistance around putting our work out there in front of people who know us from maybe our pre-online life. What are they going to think about us? What are they going to think about this business that I just started? Your content is not for those people. Your content is for the people you're here to serve in your business. So focus on them, get really clear on who that person is. And when you're sharing things online, of course, other people are going to see it who aren't your ideal clients, but it's not meant for them. And you're going to feel so much better about showing up when you're talking to your person. Now, the other thing is having a solid strategy. We need to have a strategy in our business right from the beginning. And our strategy can change. We are not locked into doing the same thing for the rest of our life in business, but we do need to work a strategy. We can't just pick something for a month and then move on to the next shiny object, the next shiny strategy that comes along because it's working for this other person over here. We need to ask ourselves, how can I show up consistently in a way that feels good for me? How can I get my message out there so I'm reaching new people, I'm nurturing my existing audience, and I have a way to move people into my offers? How can I make all that work for me in a way that feels really good so I'm able to do it consistently? And having a strategy is something I did not want to have. I didn't want to have clarity. I didn't want to have a strategy because looking back now, I can see that I didn't want to be boxed in. I wanted to be free and creative and move in the direction my intuition was leading me in my business all the time. And I'm all for following your soul and following your intuition in your business. I think that's very important. But I also know from experience that fear will come up and tell you that you're not on the right track, that you need to change things, that you need to shift, you need to do something different. When in reality, if you just keep working what you're doing and you stick with it and you put the blinders on so you're not seeing what everyone else on the internet's doing, things are going to work for you. The second thing we want to look at is what's going on beneath the surface with our mindset. Because we can be posting all day long on the internet and still not truly being visible. Because if we have this block within us that's not allowing our true light to shine, that's not really allowing us to be fully seen, our people aren't going to be able to find us. Now, in terms of visibility blocks for newer entrepreneurs, a few that come up consistently that I see all the time are a fear of upsetting people or making people mad. Like if you actually say what you know your ideal client needs to hear, chances are that's going to trigger some people. That is going to push some buttons. And a lot of people don't want to go there because they want to stay in this realm of light, fluffy, feel-good content. But that is not serving your people. Your people need to move. They need to take action. They need to be doing something in order to create that positive change in their life. And while there's a time and a place for the feel-good content, we also want to let people know that making those changes isn't always easy, that we need to look at why we're not doing the thing that we know we feel called to do. And that often involves calling people out, right? And we get to do that with love. We don't have to be a dick about it, but we need to say what our ideal clients need to hear. And a lot of people are afraid of being polarizing and they're afraid of losing followers if they truly share the message that's on their heart to share. Another thing around this that comes up often is people don't look at what being successful will really mean to them in terms of how it might impact their life negatively. Because on the surface level, it's like, of course I want clients. Of course I want the 10K months. Why wouldn't I? It's going to improve my family's life. I'm going to be able to build up my savings. I'm going to be able to serve people in a bigger way. And we can look at the positive things. But on the flip side of that, maybe that means that you're not able to spend as much time with your friends and family. Maybe that means that you're not going to have as much time freedom, right? If we're looking at one-to-one client work that you might be doing. Maybe there's a fear that you could make more money than your partner, and that might change the dynamic in your relationship, and you might have to have a difficult conversation. Maybe you are afraid of making the money because you don't know how to manage it. And the thought of actually going to the bank and speaking to a financial professional who can help you manage your money is something that just doesn't feel good. Maybe it feels intimidating. Maybe it feels like that's something that other people do, but you're not that kind of person. We need to look at what's tied to being successful. And this is a thing that a lot of people don't look at because they skim right over it. They're like, of course I want the money. Of course I do. If I have the money, I'm going to work things out with, my partner. Everything's going to be great with my family. Everything's going to work out. Everything's going to be great, which it can be. But often to get to that place, we have to have difficult conversations. We have to do things that make us uncomfortable. We have to be a different version of ourselves in order to create that reality, and making that shift from who we are now to who we need to be. Even though it's still 100% us, it's a slightly different version of ourselves, and that change can be very uncomfortable. So we just stay exactly where we are. So we don't show up. We don't truly allow ourselves to be seen, be visible, because of what's on the other side of that. So for homework today, what I would love you to do is go back and take a look at the foundational pieces of your business. Are you clear? Do you have a strategy? If you don't, reach out to me. This is exactly what I help people do. We can work together. We can figure this stuff out together. The second piece is looking at the mindset blocks, looking at what's going on beneath the surface, looking at the stories you're telling yourself about what it means to be visible. Are you afraid that if you start putting yourself out there, if you start getting featured on bigger podcasts, or if you start getting featured in online publications, are you afraid that you're going to attract trolls and criticism? Or if you have fully booked out programs, are you afraid that someone might ask for a refund? Look at what's going on beneath the surface and ask yourself this question: why don't I want success? Why am I choosing to not be visible right now? And see what comes up for you. Okay, that is what I have for you today. If you know that podcasting is something that you want to incorporate into your business in order to help you be more visible, the Podcasting Mini Mastermind is open for enrollment. This is a very small, intimate space that I am inviting entrepreneurs into who know that they want to start a podcast. The desire is there. It's something that they want to do. But when it comes to getting clear on the name of your show, what kind of content to create, who your show is for specifically, if you want clarity on those foundational pieces and you want help setting up your show, this is what we're doing inside this mini mastermind. So when you come into this space, you're going to get a 60-minute call with me where we are going to map out all of that stuff. We are going to get super, super clear on who your show is for and how to create content for your people over there. We're going to talk about how to market your show. We are going to talk about some of the mindset things that come up for people who are starting a podcast. We are going to break through all of that fear, all of that resistance, so you can have your show up and running in a matter of days. We move fast in my world. We do things really quickly. So after the 60-minute call that we have together, you're also going to get 2 weeks of support from myself and the other mastermind members. So as you're going through the motions of setting up your show and doing all the things, you can pop into the mastermind group, you can ask questions, you can get support. So you're in a space by next month where you have your show fully up and running and you're feeling really, really good about it because you know exactly what you need to do to grow that show and attract clients through your podcast. So if that feels like a good fit, just reach out to me on Instagram at igniteyourpurpose.co and I will send over the full details. All right, you guys, I hope you have an amazing, amazing rest of your day. And as usual, I can't wait to speak with you in the next episode.